This is my audience. This is Macy, Sarah, and Grace. Too often, people shrug off the origin of our universe controversy, thinking that it's not a problem based on the fact that it doesn't affect their everyday lives. This issue basically comes down to two sides, creationism and evolution. This issue affects everyone because it's not only an origin issue, it's a matter of faith in God or faith in ourselves as humans. I've read multiple academic articles, completed a course in creation studies, as well as read a book by one of the leading creationists. Creationism is more than just the thing that explains our origin. It's our hope for the future, and it has implications in every area of our lives. I'll now validate this claim by discussing both evolution and creationism and the implications for our world based on every individual's choice in this matter. And finally, I will discuss what the Bible has to say about this issue. First, we need to look at the view of evolution. Founded by Charles Darwin, evolution is the idea that the Big Bang, about 4.5 billion years ago, caused the universe to come into being. Evolution is a process by which species arise and change over time. The idea that all organisms have descended from a common ancestor. Through the evolving of species and natural selection, our world has become what it is today. Survival of the fittest is the name of the game according to evolution. Evolution and its findings can be very complex, but it all comes down to the fact that everything that evolutionists state as truth is really only speculation. For example, in 1912, they founded Piltdown Man, who had filed-down teeth and a human skull and an orangutan jaw. This was just a compilation of random fossils that they found, and they claimed it to be an ancestor of ours. One of the biggest speculations is also that chimpanzees are our ancestors. In textbooks, things such as hands and jaws are often enlarged or shrunk to look at like the same size as humans. Another example is Lucy, one of our oldest ancestors, was reconstructed at MSU. Only 40% of her fossils were found, so when they reconstructed her, they added human hands and feet to make her look like one of our ancestors. The biology of this world makes evolution possible. There is no possible way that one protein structure, DNA, or RNA molecule could have happened accidentally. The common experiment used to refute this is if there were enough monkeys typing on keyboards given enough time, one of them would write a Shakespearean sonnet. Now onto a general foundation of creationism. There's a common theory called the watchmaker. William Paley founded this theory, and he said that if you were walking on a beach and you find a watch, chances are that you're not going to think that the watch just spontaneously appeared. There was a creator. According to Dr. David DeWitt, a professor here at Liberty University, different kinds of organisms were created with a range of variability which allows for change and adaptation since creation. So yes, there is variation among species, and this is what God created, and it shows that we don't have any common ancestors among species. The complexity of this world points to something greater than natural causes in human will. The cell itself is so complex, and it's obvious that every function inside of that one tiny cell did not just appear. If they had the knowledge of the full function of the cell that we have today, back in Darwin's day when he proposed his theory, it probably would have just been thrown out as nonsense. Now let's discuss the heart of the issue, what this means for our world. If we continue to ignore the importance of this issue, our world will lose a sense of our Creator, which, as we know as Christians, will end in destruction. Both creationism and evolution are based on assumptions. There's no solid evidence for one or the other, but Scripture provides a solid framework for creationism. Evolutionists are constantly saying that Christians and creationists merely rely on their faith of something that may or may not exist to explain the unknown origin of our universe. However, Evolution takes a lot more faith than creationism does. Most importantly, the biblical application of this topic is the most relevant evidence to support creationism. In Genesis, God created the earth in 6 days, and he gave solid evidence of exactly how he created things and exactly how he wanted our earth to be. Psalm 14, 1 through 3 says, "The fool says in his heart, 'There is no God.' They are corrupt. Their deeds are vile. There is no one who does good. The Lord looks down from heaven on all mankind to see if there are any who understand, any who seek God. All have turned away. All have become corrupt, and there is no one who does good, not even one." This verse just explains how if we turn away from God and only think of evolution when we think of our origin, we're going to lose our sense of God. And of course, John 3:16, which states that God sent his son to die for us, and that's where our salvation and life comes from. In conclusion, this topic has so many real effects on our world. By learning about the truths of both evolution and creationism, discussing the effects it has on our world, and the biblical application of this issue, we can try to make the best difference that we can. This topic may not seem like a life or death issue, but it truly is. By choosing not to take a side in this debate, or by choosing to take the wrong side, your soul is at stake. I hope you all learned something and have a